This was extracted from a Facebook Live session. To be part of the full experience next time, visit facebook.com/datelikeafrenchwoman. Oh my God, I look old. I don't like what I see. Oh, I don't like my reflection. How am I going to find love with that? Are these some of your thoughts, or even worse? Today, we are going to talk about mirror intentions. They are not mirror affirmations, but you can work with both mirror intention and mirror affirmations to change this brain training, negative brain training that you have going on. Because it will stop you. If you don't like what you see, if you're afraid of getting old, it will stop you everywhere in your life. Before we go to that, welcome replay viewers. Please don't hesitate to put comments because I will come back and answer your questions or reply to your comments. If you like what you see, share the love, send me some hearts, some thumbs up, share it with any woman that you think is struggling with her image, because it's really something that breaks my heart when I see that, and it's very, very common. My name is Murielle. If you don't know who I am a sacred dating teacher and a transformation and self-love coach. And today, as I said, we're going to talk about struggling with your image, the fear of getting old. How do you look at yourself? These are the subjects that we're going to cover, and I'm going to give you a tool that you can use anywhere, anytime to change the way that your brain is set up. But before I go there, sorry, Frankish, there is something I want to remind you. I have a free online masterclass coming up on self-confidence and magnetic presence. So if you are struggling with this kind of issues, or if you want to increase your self-confidence, don't hesitate. Go to license2shine.com, register, and you can attend either live, it's going to take place this Sunday, or on replay. Whatever is most convenient for you. That's my gift to you. Let's dive into our subject. I see so many women who are very self-critical, who are so afraid of getting older because the way society is bombarding us with all those images of perfection is reinforcing what you may already have going on, which is a feeling of not feeling enough in some way or form. And in that case, it takes the form of not young enough to obtain or to attract or to deserve even what you want in life. And that can be love if you're in the dating milieu, in the dating market. Or if you are an entrepreneur, I see that a lot too. That can actually block you from progressing with your business. Because if you are not at ease in your skin, if you don't feel that you deserve, it's going to block you. And whether you know it or not, I don't know if you know that, and let me know in the comments. If you cannot connect with even your femininity, your sexiness, when you walk on a stage to give a talk, or when you go to talk to a client, or when you go to a date, it will be felt. There is some kind of incoherence between you, your energy, what you project, and and what you want to be. And sometimes it will even lead you, if you feel that you're getting old and you feel maybe powerless, because I know that feeling. If you listen to my podcast this week, I mentioned, this was about the subject of getting old and the fear. I mentioned that there was a time in my life, several years ago, when I was dating someone who was cheating on me with younger women, where I felt miserable, powerless, worthless. And it was really horrible. I had so much pain in my heart. That's why I now help women with this fear of getting older, because whether you want it or not, you're going to get older if you're lucky, because that means you're alive, right? So what do you tell yourself when you go to the mirror? And the most, maybe the stronger negative response is in the morning, because you don't have any makeup on, you get up, you go to brush your teeth. What is the first thing that you tell yourself when you look in the mirror? Is it, oh my God, I look tired. Oh my God, I have lines. Or is it, good morning, I'm ready for life, I love myself. Maybe not in those terms, but smiling to yourself, be eager to start the day, to live a new adventure. What is it that you think in the morning? Know that every time you do that, every time you go and you think a negative thought like that, it will reinforce the belief that you are not enough. It will reinforce the fear. Is that really what you want to do? Is that really the kind of reality that you want to create in your life, where you're going to feel somehow defeated because there is nothing you can do? You're getting older and that's it, and that's the end. And maybe I won't find love because all the men want the younger women, which is, by the way, not true for not all of them. Is it the kind of thoughts that you want to entertain, the kind of emotions that you want to trigger in your body, and the kind of energy that you want to vibrate at? Don't forget, if you're new to me, maybe you haven't heard about the way I describe energy. Excuse me for a second. I describe energy. I'm going to take a sip of water. Somehow, every time I do a Facebook Live, it must be dry here in my office because my throat is tickling. So if I lost track of my thoughts, yes, you will vibrate at a certain level. It's like an elevator. And not only vibrate, you will think at a certain level, feel at a certain level, and radiate energy at a certain level. And you will you will be matched with people, situations, and things that vibrate at the same level, at the same floor. It's like literally pushing a button and stopping at that floor. So even if we're talking about brain only, if you have this kind of negative, limiting, lowering your value thoughts in your head, that's what the kind of thoughts that you think on a regular basis, there is a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. And that part is the role of that RAS, as we call it in short, is to filter your reality. And it will only make you become aware, because there is way too much information out there for your brain to be able to process everything. So it's like a filter for your brain to be able to not explode. It will only let you become aware of what matches the most relevant thoughts that you have going on, whether they are conscious or unconscious. So when you have this kind of thoughts, what is relevant to you is that you can have what you want, you don't deserve it because you're too old, you're not beautiful enough, you are not enough. And that's the floor that you're going to stop at. It is time to make that thing stop. It is time to put that behind you. What I want to teach you today, maybe you've done affirmations, which are positive declarations to life. about what you want to experience. Like, for example, I am enough and I attract all good in the world. That's an affirmation. Before you do the affirmation, what I want to teach you is to prime your brain, to train your brain to go wherever you want it to go. You train your brain before you go to your mirror, and you give an order to your brain to regarding what you want to notice. Because unfortunately, our brain is biased. It's a survival instinct. We notice anything that is negative. We notice anything that is out of place because it could mean death. It did in the past. Our brain, our reptilian brain, hasn't evolved. The one that is the autopilot hasn't evolved as much. And that's why you will always tend to notice the negative. Notice what's wrong. Notice what you don't like. Notice what's out of place. But you can retrain your brain. So before you go to the mirror, build in your mind the intention of noticing something that you're going to like. Or at least, if you can go right to the positive because you've been swinging too far into the negative for so long. Have the intention, firm intention, to be neutral. To not go right away to notice the lines, the defaults, the defects, what you don't like about yourself. Maybe your skin is sagging a little bit more than 20 years ago. Decide that those are not the kind of things that you want to notice. And that's about thought discipline. Because you're going to go to your mirror and it may be that you're going to be able to do that for 2 minutes. And then you're going to do an affirmation about loving yourself. And right away, all the resistance that is under the surface regarding that affirmation, like if I say, I am a beautiful woman, you may have resistance that's going to say, yeah, who are you kidding? Do you know how old you are? You know how much you weigh? Or you know what you haven't done in your life? Or your eyes are not symmetrical? Or your hair is blah, 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 blah. You're going to have a ton of resistance. When you practice mirror intention, you deliberately intend to not feed any energy to this kind of thoughts. You're just going to let them go. You're going to intend to switch. And you can go back to your affirmations because that's what people struggle with a lot when they start doing affirmations, my clients and the people in general, and me in the past. You start saying something positive about what you want to see or the way you want your life to turn out. And all the resistance is coming up to the surface, which is amazing. That's great. That's wonderful because that's why you can become aware of it. So start really practicing strong, firm intention that you are no longer dancing that dance. I am no longer paying attention to those thoughts. The thing is, sometimes people pay attention to it. Maybe you do that. Do you pay attention to it because you're like, oh my God, I had a negative thought. I have a fear. And you make it bigger. Anything you focus on will become bigger in your mind, in your perception, and in your life. So do you really want to feed this kind of thoughts? I know it sounds simple, but thought discipline, it sounds overly simplistic, but thought discipline is extremely powerful, and it's the secret to changing. You just decide, firm intention, firm decision. It is not even a choice, it's a decision that you are no longer dancing that dance with those thoughts, and you let it go. And you pick another one. So one thing that can help you is to have a sheet of intentions, a sheet of, let's say, tools in your toolbox for when that happens. Because if you have a negative thought that's going to come up to the surface, if you are starting to getting caught up with that thought and start going on with it, like holding to it, when you ski and you have those things where you go up the slope and you hold them and you're on your skis. That's what we do with thoughts. Just let it go. But sometimes you're not able to let it go like that easily. You need a tool. Having a counteract thought, something that's going to bring you back to your intention. And it can be as simple as, no, I decided I'm no longer going there. Mine, one that works marvelous for me, is I'm not dancing there. I'm not dancing that dance anymore. And I do that with my thoughts. I do that with people who try to, trigger you, and people in my past who used to drive me crazy. I remember my decision. I'm not dancing that dance anymore. And that's as simple as that. And I pick another thought. I pick a thought of, look how strong I am. Look what I am able to do. Look how I progressed. Look how I'm learning to progress. Look all the resources that are available to me in my thoughts at this moment. Look how powerful and strong my brain is. Look how magnificent of a machine that my brain is, because I can just switch a little bit and I'm in a completely different reality, because reality is perception. Make a list of either celebration thoughts like that, or encouraging, or you can even, if you're not there yet, you can even say, I really hope that I'm becoming better at that. I hope that I'm becoming better at that. I'm becoming better at that in this moment. I'm just starting and it's already working. No perfection, no perfectionism here. You won't be perfect. It happens to all of us. Even the people who have been spiritual and self-aware, and people who tend to be oriented toward self-growth and self-development, we all have our moments where we go back. Forgive yourself in advance. And you can even affirm every morning, I forgive myself in advance because I am trying and doing my best. But then really try and do your best. The last thing I want to remind you is that nothing will change if you don't do the exercises, if you don't practice the tools, if you don't do the tools. I know it's not grammatically correct, but I'm going to still say it. If you don't do the tools, nothing will change, because your brain learns how? Repetition and emotion. So as long as you repeat it, like the same way that you learned how to walk when you were a baby, or the same way that you learned to, when you took a spoon, put it in your mouth, because at the beginning, the babies are everywhere. They don't know. And then the more you practice, then it becomes automatic. Same thing. The more you practice a thought, the more it will become automatic. You don't have to relearn to walk every day. You don't have to relearn to drive every time you take your car. You don't have to relearn to speak every day. It's all in your database. Make mirror intention in your database and let it change your life, because when you will feel differently about yourself, when you will be able to really accept the fact that you're getting older and there's nothing you can do. You can improve stuff here and there with a plastic surgery, but accept it. You are going to have wrinkles and your skin is going to sag. You can still be loved. Look at the people around you whom you love. I think it's who. I always get confused. Who you love, who are old. You can have somebody, even if you're getting older. And if you want another exercise that I did in my radio show, go listen to my podcast. If you want the link to the podcast, by the way, if you want the link to the free masterclass, you can just write here self-confidence and it will be sent to you. If you want to be notified because you would like to attend those sessions live, just put remind me. No, I think it's notify me, and you will be notified every time I go live. I'm starting to automatize everything, and I created a messenger bot. Actually, my coach helped me create it, and it's called the Love Bot. Don't you like that? I love it. Go and listen to the podcast. And if you're really serious about gaining more self-confidence, attend the free masterclass and join the Date Like a French Woman free coaching group, because I am also going to do a process over there, the longer version of what I did in the radio show. I hope that you really are taking notice of those tools and that you are not discarding them because they seem too simplistic. They are simplistic. But you know what? The powerful things are simplistic. Changing is kind of simple in some cases, to some level. And simple tools, I mean, the secret tools that work are simple. They are simple, but not always easy to practice. So that's where you need to make a commitment to yourself and decide that you're going to do it every single day. And maybe decide that you're going to do it every time you go. You know you're going to be faced with a mirror, or you're going to pass in front of a mirror. One day, I was really surprised when I was walking in a mall, and I saw my reflection, and I liked what I saw. I was no longer, oh, I need to do this, or I need to lose weight, or I look older, or I was not there anymore. I just loved it. And not in an arrogant way, in a healthy, self-worth way. If you have any comments, put them below. So what we covered today, to summarize, to recap, before you're going to be faced with a mirror, prep your brain, because your brain otherwise will go directly to the negative. And the second thing is, use it with affirmation when you feel resistance. The third thing is, repeat, 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 because the brain learns with repetition, not by just doing it once, or not by just listening now like that. I'll see you next week. I'm here every Thursday at 6:30 Pacific time, 6:30 p.m. And until then, go love yourself.